When did I not want to talk about it? I talk about it all the time. We are much better than Biden and all of them. Now, just so you understand, do you remember that the Biden administration had the highest inflation in 48 years, but most people say ever recorded? Do you remember that? Right? Do you remember it? Did they have the highest inflation in 48 years? Did they? Just answer me the question. You know the answer. The answer is yes. The fake news yesterday, they talked about that. They said, oh, I don't want to talk about affordability. The reason I don't want to talk about affordability is because everybody knows that it's far less expensive under Trump than it was under Sleepy Joe Biden.
Joining us now at the desk, hot off his special, Socialism, Threat and the Future of Capitalism. You can catch that again this weekend, 9 a.m. Eastern. Fox Business anchor David Asman. I love it when he gets mad. And he's right. The media is carrying water for the Democrats.
Well, and the extraordinary, Senator Rounds just pointed out again, the reason why health care costs are up, why premiums are up, is because of Obamacare and because of all of the attempts to expand Medicaid and turn our health system into a socialist system. Meanwhile, we have a socialist who's going to be running New York City pretty soon, back in, I guess it's in January 1st when he's inaugurated. He just said this week at his acceptance party, he said, we will prove there is no problem too large for government to solve, no concern too small for it to care about. We're about to hear, when will the lesson be learned that Ronald Reagan said about 50 years ago, that the problem is the government? That's the problem. The government is not the solution. The government is the problem. It's the same with housing. I mean, we do have an affordability problem. It is now twice the monthly cost to own a house in America than it was just back in 2019 before the pandemic. But you had that extraordinary increase in government by the Biden administration, which led directly to inflation, which led directly to higher interest rates. And interest rates, the 30-year mortgage has gone from 3.5% in 2019 to over 6% today. That's the problem. The problem is the government. The government is not the solution. And they keep claiming that the only solution to Obamacare, to the problems with health care is more government money, when it's more government money that has created the problem in the first place.
David, do you think that Trump might be better served politically by saying, listen, I inherited, and he, of course, that was the point of his questions, I inherited this gigantic problem from Joe Biden and the Democrats. It's going to take some time for us to get out of the hole that they dug, as opposed to saying now, like, oh, things are way better under me. Because the Democrats are now turning it right back against him, like, hey, you haven't fixed it in 9 months, all of our problems, give us power back.
I think we just heard him do that. I think there has been a pivot, and they are trying to get to the root of the problem and suggest that it's going to take a while to unwind this extraordinary spending, which actually hasn't been. Dagan, you've been talking about the expenses. Both Republicans and Democrats have been involved in doing everything except cutting the way we have to cut. Just cut the baseline back to where it was in 2019, when we were spending about $4.5 trillion on the government, and now we're still spending $6.5 trillion on the government. I mean, it's very clear what the problem is. It's the unwinding of it. Well, there are two things you got to do. One is cut the spending, and two is get the growth going so strong that the government to GDP ratio, it comes down again. Ronald Reagan did it. It's going back to Reagan, he did it in the 80s. We can do it again right now.
Right. They just like blithely repeat these lies that, oh, everybody knows that the tariffs have caused prices to go up across the board. That was George Stephanopoulos. I'm like, you haven't gone anywhere near any consumer good. The closest you get to a gallon of milk is maybe seeing one out of the window of your Humscalade, you little jerk. Moving on to this, the CEO of Palantir, Alex Karp, claiming that the rise of New York Mayor-elect Mamdani is due to the jealousy of Ivy League grads realizing that their degrees are worthless. Listen.
I think the average, Ivy League grad voting for this mayor is highly annoyed that their education is not that valuable, and the person down the street who knows how to drill for oil and gas, who's moved to Texas, has a more valuable profession. And I think that annoys the out of these people.
I agree. I mean, envy and jealousy are the mother's milk of socialism. That's what draws people into socialism. That's you hear Mamdani talk. That's all he talks about is the envy of people that are in his community, of folks who have too much money. And Bernie Sanders says the same damn thing. And those are very nasty. I mean, envy used to be one of the great deadly sins. I think it still qualifies as such. If you base public policy on envy and jealousy and guilt, because people who think that they have too much money is also a problem that goes in there. But these are not good emotions to base policy on. Capitalism is based on competition and ambition. Yes, there can be greed that comes in, which can make things a little nasty, but competition takes care of about 95% of the greed problem of capitalism. Envy and jealousy gets you nowhere in terms of policy. So I think he's onto something.
Yeah, Peter Thiel just gave an interview with the Free Press where
Great,
he said
by
a
the
lot
way.
of this
Love
is being
Peter.
driven, especially in New York City, by the resentment and bitterness of downwardly mobile elites.
That's right.
And I think he's onto something.
Yeah.
But in New York City, it's a little different because you see it. It's in your face all the time, that the wealth is in your face. And so it's more acute a feeling.
What's in my face? A lot of dirty criminals that are trying to attack me and my wife. So that's part of the problem,
Another
too.
problem. Another problem. Yeah, Mamdani will get right on that.
Yeah,
At
I'm
least
sure.
you didn't go where I thought you were going, David.
Well, I was thinking of it. I mean, you bring out the best of me, David.
Love you. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
David Asman.